Will having you in this job influence other Republicans to do the right thing, Jim?
I sure hope so. Our Congressman Eric Cantor from Virginia, in a very short time, has risen to a very high leadership position. Now, I don't covet rising to a high leadership position, but I'm just showing the example. He has had the ability to move fast, to be able to build majorities within the party, within the House. What I can do is this, and where the heavy lifting's done. The heavy lifting's done in committees. Decisions are made by committees. Now, you either know what you're doing when you come in, or you're doing what the senior ranking member of the committee tells you to do, or you're doing what the staff tells you to do. And I'll give you a quick story about this, an example. In the 1980s, two classmates of mine, two buddies, two classmates, one was working in the Pentagon, and one was on Capitol Hill as a Capitol Hill professional staff guy, Armed Services Committee. The guy in the Pentagon spent 4 months trying to figure out how many tanks Congress should buy next year. All right, and he spent 4 months, 6 days a week, having review and analysis and counter-analysis and other review through the echelons of the bureaucracy, and they finally came up with a number. Here's how many tanks this is our professional military judgment. Here's how many tanks Congress should buy. The other fella, the staffer, took that number after 4 months of study, and as they approached a vote, went to lunch with the senior member on the committee's, his personal staffer. And over lunch, on a napkin, they wrote down a number, they crossed it out, they wrote down another number, and that's how many tanks Congress bought. The point of that story is, if you know what you're doing from day one, that's not going to happen. The staffers are not going to make the decision at lunch. They're not going to come to you and say, boss, we need to buy 200 F-35s, which is the most expensive program in the world, the F-35 fighter program. How many were we supposed to buy? 100, 200, 1,000? How do you know? How many, when the Future Combat Systems was being built, which is going to replace all the combat systems you see in Iraq right now for the Army and the Marines, how many do we buy? If they get too expensive, what size should they be? Is there something about them, and I'm leading to an answer here, is there something about the future combat systems that if it progresses as it is, a lot of young Americans for the next 30 years are going to get killed. They're going to get killed based on a design decision. Well, it'd be nice if somebody went to Congress who knew what that design decision is and knows how to fix it. I'm not going to give you the answer right now, but it'd be nice to know that. It's nice to know in terms of the Marine Corps. How many advanced amphibious vehicles do they really need? And why aren't we building the ships that are adequate for the Marine Corps and the Marine Navy team? And what sort of things need to be on those ships? The ships they look like carriers, they're not really carriers, but that's very important. Why don't we build those? How many should we build? And again, what sort of capabilities should be on those ships? What sort of capabilities does the Air Force have to have so that they can go out and strike immediately anywhere in the world at any time? If you don't know those answers on day one, yeah, you can do on-the-job training. But in the meantime, other people are going to be making decisions for you. And I want to come back to the same point you went to earlier about Congress from the colonial times to 1989. If you make the wrong decision, if you make the right decision, cost a lot of money, people get hurt, people die in wars. If you make the right decision, we win. We win the first battle, we win the war, we continue as a nation. Not that we impose our will on other nations, not that we conquer other nations. We're really lousy imperialists. We don't want to do that. We want people to leave us alone. I mean, that's really what we want. We want people to just leave us alone. But in order to do that, you have to have a military force that anybody in the world, and every little dictator of the world, goes to bed at night going, if the Americans want to come and break everything I have and kill everybody I know and destroy my nation, they can do it.